Today I've gotten several emails about the same topic. The first one I got was from a fellow YouTuber, Jag Rami, who just linked the topic to me. But other ones have been from people saying, aha, what do you think of this study? This study proves you all wrong. It's the study that says assault rifles are responsible for more deaths when they're used in mass killings than regular guns. Now this study is done by Mayors Against Guns. Now I know it's supposed to be mayors against illegal guns, but they use such a broad definition to describe what they consider illegal guns that they include almost all guns if you really look at it. So let's call them what they really are, Mayors Against Guns. This is just another case of Bloomberg, a billionaire, using his money to make it seem like everyone wants something that's common sense when it's really just a few elite people that want something that doesn't make any sense at all. Now, like I say, people are contacting me just to make me aware of it. People are contacting me to say, what do you think of this thing now? Haha, you're all wrong, blah, blah, blah. And no, we're not wrong. This study is just more garbage from Bloomberg. So I thought I'd take a second here and explain to people why this study is complete garbage, why I don't really put any emphasis on it, and why I don't think it's important. Now let's first look at what the study says. The study says that even though assault rifles aren't used in very many crimes, when they are used, they're responsible for more deaths. In fact, they're responsible for roughly about 50% more deaths. Now that sounds awful. That sounds like more people are dying from assault rifles than anything else, even though we say assault rifles are hardly ever used. So let's look at why this study is bullcrap, just total garbage. First off, the way they define assault rifles, and let's not forget they don't just include assault rifles, they always add that little caveat, and high capacity magazines. First off, they're misdefining assault rifles. In all these cases where they say assault rifles were used, they actually weren't. An assault rifle is a rifle that has selective fire. You have to have selective fire to be an assault rifle. That's the definition of assault rifle. And selective fire means it has a setting for both semi-automatic and fully automatic. The rifles they list and call assault rifles are not assault rifles. They're like AR-15s. And AR does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite rifle, for the people that invented it. It is not an assault rifle. And they count high-capacity magazines as any magazine that has 10 or more rounds in it. That's pretty much all compact to full-size guns made nowadays, other than revolvers. So basically when they say assault rifles and high-capacity magazines, they're saying basically all rifles except for lever actions and bolt actions, and all guns except for pocket guns and revolvers. A pretty broad and misleading definition of assault rifles and high-capacity magazines, if you ask me. So right off the bat, the study is wrong from the beginning because they misdefine things. That would be like me making a study that says terrorism kills more people in the United States than cancer. And then making my study and producing my numbers and then putting in my little ledger at the bottom and saying that I counted car accidents as an act of terrorism. Now, car accidents aren't generally an act of terrorism, but since I define them as an act of terrorism and include them in my study numbers, at the end of my study, I can say terrorism kills more people in the United States than cancer. Now, hopefully people would look at my study and go, wait a minute, this nut job is including car accidents as acts of terrorism. That doesn't count. This guy's nuts. But most people don't bother to look at numbers. They just look at the end sentence. They look at the conclusion and then they draw their own opinions from that without actually looking at the data. And that's what these people like, Mayors Against Guns count on. They count on people not doing the research, either being too stupid or too lazy to actually see what they're being told. And then to compound the fact that they just misrepresent the research entirely, they do some very creative and deceptive math. When they say, when assault rifles are used, 50% more people die, they're not saying assault rifles are killing 50% more people. Because if you're saying that they kill 1.5 times as many people when assault rifles are used as when they're not used, you're saying that 60% of all gun deaths are occurring by assault rifles. But that's not really what they're saying. They're saying something entirely different. What they're saying is when they're used, they account for 1.5 times as many deaths. That means if you have 100 incidences where assault rifles, as they define them, and high-capacity magazines, as they define them, are not used, and you have 4 people die each time, that's 400 deaths. And now you have one incident where someone does use an assault rifle, as they define it, and 6 people are killed. Well, now when you look at that incident compared to the average incident where assault rifles are not used, more people died. 50% more people died because 6 people died. Now really those 6 deaths are a little over 1% of the total deaths, but when you present it the way they present it, a very dishonest way, it makes it seem like it's 60% of the total deaths. So basically they take a study that's completely based on falsehoods and lies, and then they misrepresent it mathematically in a very creative way. And believe me, when they looked at 2009 to 2012, they chose those years for a very specific reason. Because they went outside that criteria, it made it even harder for them to make their lies seem legitimate. So they had to select a very finite amount of data from many, many years of data. So basically, it's just more lies. Just like the 74 school shooting study was lies. Now the media called them on the 74 school shootings finally and said, it's a bunch of lies. Let's see if they call them on this. But I'm not holding my breath.